So I'm trying to put into words what this moment means to me and what I feel like this moment means to so many of us. And first, I'd like to say I am so happy that Biden is going to be our president. I think he is a decent, compassionate, humble, kind man who will guide us through this moment in a way that we need. I think about the fact that he has lost loved ones and he understands grief, and we are grieving in so many ways in our nation right now. We are grieving for the lives that have been lost to this pandemic, and I truly feel that Biden will be able to guide us through this because he knows how we feel when we lose when you lose a loved one and what that feels like. Biden knows this, and he'll be able to talk to us and guide us through the pain that we're feeling over the loss and the death that we are facing in this pandemic. And I am so grateful that he will be our president. But I don't actually want to talk about Joe Biden. There's someone else I want to talk about, and in this moment, someone that I really want to talk about, because she's the daughter of immigrants. Do you remember them, who they are? They built us. They are us. Immigrants are so important, and there are warriors, our voyagers. They come here and they build and they make things, and they have families, and they love their families, and they give to this nation. And I feel like we have turned our backs on our immigrants. We have turned our back on the people who built us, and that has to stop. Respect immigrants. Respect the people that have built this nation and are continuing to build this nation. The people that are coming from other places to America to fulfill dreams. They matter. I love them. You should love them too. Kamala is the daughter of immigrants. Kamala Harris is the daughter of immigrants. Savor this moment, America. Your first female vice president is an immigrant. She shares in a birthright of immigrants and what that means about building our nation and the diversity that I believe is the heart of America. I live in Iowa, and unfortunately here in Iowa we've suffered a pretty devastating blow in terms of what we lost in this election. We are a Republican-controlled state now, and that breaks my heart. It breaks my heart because I know the things that the agenda that Republicans have here in Iowa and the hurt that they're causing. I live in a town called Burlington, Iowa, and Burlington is a place that had a Planned Parenthood clinic and lost it after 20 years because of choices that Trump made and things that the Iowa GOP did. And when that happened, it really changed my life because I was not an activist, and I didn't consider myself an activist. I marched on Washington, and in fact, when I marched on Washington, that was the first time I heard Kamala Harris speak. But I came back from the March on Washington filled with a fire and a passion that came from just the incredible diversity I saw at the march and the people that were there, the hundreds of thousands of people that flooded Washington, D.C. And I felt like they were giving us a mission, and they were sending us out to make change, and to make change for this moment specifically. So after we lost our Planned Parenthood clinic, it made me an activist, and I've been able to travel to Washington, D.C. and fight for my state and for the women in my state, non-binary people in my state, for families, for mothers. Reproductive health is an issue that matters, and it is an issue that we will continue to talk about and we will not stop fighting for. It is important. And it's a passion of mine, for sure. It is a passion of mine. And another thing I want to talk about Kamala Harris, Madam Vice President Kamala Harris. It means so much to say that. Is the fact that not only is she a daughter of immigrants, she is a daughter of two people who marched and fought in the civil rights movement, who marched beside Dr. King. Do you understand how powerful that is and how powerful this moment is because of it? It is so powerful, and I want to explain that a little bit more, because I want people to really savor this moment in history and understand these implications and what they mean, and the good things that are being brought to our nation through this moment. The civil rights movement has not stopped. We are still fighting. Black people in particular are still fighting for their civil rights in the year 2020. Let's make that fact clear. This is not a story that ended in a time further along. I think people think like, oh, Black people have so many rights, and why would you say that that it's not stopped? I say that because every day Black people are being terrorized and killed by police in the United States, and it is not acceptable. It is not acceptable. It is evil. It is evil what is happening, and I am not. I do not. It angers me so much, and it hurts, and I've seen the tears in the eyes of Black mothers in my own community who have lost their children to police brutality. We have taken so much from the Black community, and we have hurt them so much. And yet in this moment, when we are about to celebrate this incredible moment, you know who gave us this moment? Black people in America who voted in droves. Amazing people who voted. They're incredible, and they are part of the reason why we are going to, they are not part of, they are a fundamental part, the fundamental reason that we are experiencing this moment. And when I want to talk about Kamala Harris, I really just want you to understand how special it is that two civil rights activists gave birth to a woman who is going to be in the White House. A Black Asian woman who will be in the White House. And another thing I want to talk about, because I think it's important and I think it's all connected, is Charlottesville. I will admit, because I am a white person, there are certain things I never thought I'd see in America. There's certain things that I never thought I would see. And Charlottesville was a moment that I will remember for the rest of my life, that I will tell my grandchildren about, that I will talk about forever. Because when I saw literal Nazis and white supremacists, the literal KKK, marching with those torches and the things they said, the violence and the death and the hatred that they brought, it shocked me to my core. That moment shocked me, but that moment wasn't the moment that truly was the definitive moment for me. It was when the man who is no longer our president, say that again, the man who is no longer our president, when he said there were good people on both sides, when he refused to condemn the actions of the people that did that, white supremacists and Nazis, the president of the United States refused to stand on the right side of history, and I will never forget it, and I will never forgive it. And when I think about that, I really do. The dark forces that brewed in that moment, and the dark forces that have been brewing for 4 years, we don't deserve, in a lot of ways, the blessing that is being bestowed upon us, having Kamala Harris become our vice president. But she is, and we are so blessed, and we should. I just want people to realize how incredible that is, that a daughter of immigrants, a Black and Asian woman, isn't going to be in the White House. that those dark forces, they didn't win. They're not going to win, and they did not win. What they tried to do, the fear they tried to instill in us, the fear that they have continually tried to instill in us, even in this moment, they will not win. They have lost. They have lost. I want people to understand that, like, that darkness, that evil, because that's what it is. I don't want to hear, though, you're talking about Republicans. No, I'm talking about the white supremacy. I'm talking about the evil that I saw at Charlottesville, the evil that I watched spread. That is what we need to condemn. And I do feel like it is not a coincidence that a daughter of immigrants, a daughter of two people who marched with Dr. King, is going to be here to help us move forward, to continue to condemn white supremacy and to fight the sickness that I feel is filling our nation. I'm so grateful. I am grateful for the incredible people who voted. I'm almost speechless, but I felt like I needed to say this, and I am so happy and grateful for the fact that decency and goodness, compassion and humility, a love for our immigrants, a love for the Black people in our nation, a love for the diversity in our nation, that these things, that love, it's not been defeated. And I think that's something that John Lewis knew. I think it's something that Ruth Bader Ginsburg knew. The great giants whose shoulders we stand on. They knew that we would prevail and that we will continue to prevail. And my prayer for my country is progress. My prayer for my country is a continued diversity and an embrace of the ways in which we are changing, fueled by the people who are coming from all over, these immigrants who get the job done. Love them, embrace them. They are us. They made us. Our ancestors, our story. Don't turn on your story, America. And in this moment, I feel a hope that I have not felt in 4 years, and I want to thank every person who voted. I want to thank everyone who did that, who voted, even in a global pandemic, and the fear and the intimidation and the dark, evil tactics that have been stirring. People still bravely went to the polls, and also people voted by mail, which is just as valid. Those votes count just as much as all the other votes. Do not pretend they are different. Those are votes. Those are American votes, and they are democracy in action. I love my country. I do. This liberal snowflake loves her country. And I just had a baby girl in July, and now I get to hold her in my arms as I watch Kamala Harris sworn in as the very first female vice president of the United States of America. I feel blessed, and we should all feel blessed, and we will carry on, because this is our next chapter, America. This is our story. And I also want to give a shout out to Lin-Manuel Miranda, a personal hero of mine. Hamilton inspired me as an activist and as a person, and I'll never be able to thank him enough for the gift of Hamilton, for the music and the story. And I know it comes from a very personal place, and I really do think that Lin wrote a kind of prophecy for us. I really do, in Hamilton. It's a story of our past, but it's also a story of our future. And this is our future, and it's beautiful. It is beautiful. I feel the change that is happening and that is coming. Rejoice. Enjoy it. Embrace it. Love has won today. I love all of you. I love America. Let's keep going.